Rani Mukherjee has been one of my favorites since I was in school. I've loved her. I love in the second episode where Shakti Kapoor ji comes and Varun and I have been friends for very long, and I guess that's why we have this ease on screen because we've known each other. I have grown up watching just so many movies and so many actresses do brilliant things. I never thought that I would end up doing this.
Hi Namrata, I'm Monica from Bollywood Hungama. I'm an assistant editor here. Nice to meet you today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
First of all, congratulations, Guilty Minds. People are talking about it, people are raving about it. So, how has been your experience in the last couple of days since the show dropped?
Thank you. Yeah, people are really enjoying it. I didn't, of course, I knew that we had created something special and we made it with a lot of love, but I didn't think that the response would be so quick. People have finished it in a matter of 2 days and have been reaching out, and so it feels incredible.
Right. I watched it on Sunday. Like I started that day itself and I finished it because one of my friends, Pranay, is in the show.
Oh, yes, he
And
plays
I
my
was like,
brother.
yes, I was very excited because I've seen his journey, so it was kind of nice. But most importantly, I felt like your character arc was pretty interesting and throughout the show. From someone who was trying to find her footing in the industry where her grandfather, her father, and her uncles have done well, to finally reaching at an episode where she's coming to her own. So, what's been your journey like working on a project like this, and especially a character where you have to learn so much about law in general, about the about everything that's law and order. So, what has been your experience like, and how much did you prep for this character?
Well, I'll start with the second part of the question. The prep was, I went to High Court in Mumbai, and I have a few friends that are lawyers and also some family friends that are lawyers. So they were kind enough to kind of show me the ropes and take me to court. And, I saw a few cases being fought. And so that was a great learning experience. Um, Other than that, our director, Shafali Bhushan, has been surrounded by lawyers her whole life and very, very established lawyers. So, kind of just listening to her stories and kind of going with her inputs and her instincts on the character was kind of how I went about it. And in terms of building the character and the experience, you're right, it is a big transition from coming in very nervous and she's new, and even though it is her family's firm, she is essentially the youngest and the newest, and so that can be intimidating irrespective. So it was really interesting to build that arc, to build that kind of the girl that's naive that turns into someone that is more courageous and can speak up and become her own person. So it was a very special experience, and I learned a lot, and it was very exciting to play it out.
Right. Most importantly, I'm very interested to know for a fact that someone as with the stature of Kulbhushan Kharbanda, he's been in the industry for so long. I grew up watching his movies. I've seen him in every character, and one of my favorite characters being Jo Jeeta, who is Sikandar. So I feel like he is like one of the pillars of like what the film industry has been like for years.
Yeah.
So tell me something about him. What is it like to have this conversation with him, have scenes with him? And because you had these conversations, when you have an episode and everything, when you have like a conversation with him and elaborate, I won't reveal much.
Yeah, yeah.
But what is it like to work with a someone who's had such an elaborate career?
Well, to start with, just like you, I was a fan. I had seen him. I had even my parents are fans of his, my grandparents. So he has such a strong lineage, and what a body of work, and what an actor. So I was very intimidated the minute I found out that he would be playing my Dadaji, because of course a grandfather granddaughter relationship, there's a lot of comfort and ease and love, and so I was so scared to kind of meet him, and but the minute I met him, all of that went away. He's just the most incredible human being. He's so warm. He just puts you at ease immediately. Our scenes were so much fun together because, I mean, you can imagine being in front of a person like that and watching him perform only throws you off because you're so in awe. But after every take, he would ask if this was okay and this was okay. So it was just surreal to me that someone of that stature still just wants to do a good job. And it was such a pleasure watching him perform. And we had a lot of time together in between takes. And sometimes when we had to drive to locations, would be in the same car. And so I've had such wonderful conversations with him, hearing his stories and so it was my most special experience to be sharing a screen with him.
I can completely understand. It can become a little overwhelming for someone who's still very new in the industry and like that. Moving forward, I would love to ask you about the one episode that you actually get to be at center of at the court. And there, obviously, we won't dive into much about this. People are still watching, but she is going. There is a lot of nervousness. There is a brother who's also wanting to help her, back her, but you do not want that help. But tell me about it, the kind of prep for that particular episode, what you went through, and how do you see it now as a viewer versus as an actor when you had to film it?
It's I've said this a lot that her journey is so much like my journey, just in terms of Shubhangi is coming into a new world that she's very excited to be part of. She's nervous, but she still wants to prove herself. And I was feeling the same way as me because this is my first show. I've never been in this kind of setup before. So I was feeling as hungry to prove myself and as nervous. So I really related to what she was going through. So those scenes where I had to be nervous, and I think I felt so close to what she was experiencing that I kind of just have had to channel it in that way. So it was a lot of fun because I loved doing the court scenes. I'm a nerd at heart. So just to have those long dialogues and I had a blast doing those scenes. I love like learning facts and stuff like that. And then to be, having to say them in court was such a blast. And I related to her nervousness and hunger to prove herself. And so I think that kind of just came into its own by itself.
Right. But while she's trying to build her career, but she's not taking this she's trying not to take her family's help much. Like she wants to prove, and that's why she's not interning in a way like a working under her grandfather, someone, but she's taking the one working with Deepak. And coming to Varun, and you have a very interesting dynamic in the show, and I pretty much loved the way it turned out, and also the fact that I could understand that while she was going into this journey with him, she also was not aware what she was feeling towards him.
Yeah.
So when it ended, I was like, dude. I need the second season, like right now, for my answers. So I'm just asking, what was it like working? Varun was so charming throughout the show, so I was very interested to know him, obviously. But you and him had a great camaraderie. It felt like you guys were at ease from the beginning. So what was it like working with him? And some of the moments what was one highlight that you had, and you were like, oh, this is a good memory to take from this show?
I think, Varun and I have been friends for very long. And I guess that's why we have this ease on screen because we've known each other for years. And so it was so much fun to kind of be on set with a friend. There's a sense of comfort also, it being my first, that I have my friend with me. And he was in character. He was just, nailing it. And so it was easy to play off of him. And I mean, Shubhangi is immediately in love with Deepak from the minute she sees him. And yeah, you're right. She doesn't really know what she's feeling, but she's just going with it, and she's just feeling everything so deeply. And so there's something so beautiful about that dynamic. So we really just had fun with it and we just kind of played off of each other. And of course he's an incredible actor, so he was just completely in it, and so I just had to kind of follow his footsteps in that sense. And one of my favorite, I have to say that my first day on set was my favorite memory, because it was my first scene of my life. It was a very small scene, but I was so nervous. And I'll never forget it. And of course, all of the courtroom scenes. In the 9th episode, I fight this case for a dating app. which was really funny, and I got to kind of just like play with it, and so that is definitely one of my favorites.
What is the first scene that you had shot? Can you tell me that?
The first scene is in the third episode where we're walking in a corridor, and I say I want to go to Jalna district.
Oh,
And he's like, have you ever even been to Jalna? And that was the first scene that we ever shot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Coming to the show, I feel like courtroom dramas can get very hectic as well at times. I feel like I've watched a lot of courtroom dramas, and still, it's one of my favorite genres to watch a lot. So, but this had both the sides. It was never black and white. It was gray, but there was so many things to watch. But do you also think that in current times it was still standardized version of courtroom drama compared to what we could have expected?
Well, I think we did have to be sensitive. I mean, at the end of the day, it is entertainment, and it's meant to be entertainment. That being said, Shafali wanted it to be as real as possible in every essence. So, to kind of just keep that balance between keeping it light and entertaining and really touching upon some really prevalent issues, that was something that was really important to her as a writer and director. And so I think it has a good balance between the two.
For some reason, obviously because I had not watched the trailer for a reason, because I was like, I just wanted to go in with the flow of the show and everything else. But interestingly, when I started watching, there are so many interesting appearances in the show. Some of the actors I've not seen in so long. And I was like, oh my God. So while working, obviously you did not share screen space with a lot of them, but now that you've watched the show and everything, what is it particular appearance, one actor that you saw and I was like, oh my God, I wish I could have shared a screen space with this actor?
Yeah, I mean, I had heard about the people that were going to be coming and going, and I was really disappointed that I didn't get to, meet them. But I love in the second episode where Shakti Kapoor ji comes and, and just the way he is, and it's just, and I had heard so many stories about how much fun everybody had with him on set. So I was very jealous that I didn't get to be part of that one, but I really enjoyed watching that episode.
So a couple of weeks ago, I had met Satish sir, obviously, and I was like, and in my mind was like, I've not seen him in so long, and turns out he is in the show.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, we've missed him so much on camera in general, to watch him perform something beyond comedy, obviously.
Yeah, and he's so good in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to acting in general, since you are still very new and you're just trying to find your footing, so growing up, who are you looking up to as an actor, and who are some of your inspiration to, like, for you to take this plunge in this industry?
Well, I mean, I have grown up watching just so many movies and so many actresses do brilliant things. I never thought that I would end up doing this. So I wouldn't necessarily say I watched somebody and was inspired to do it. It kind of happened organically. But Rani Mukherjee has been one of my favorites since I was in school. I've loved her. Kareena Kapoor, both of them were kind of, just these two brilliant women that were just so amazing on screen. And so that is my first memory of, just being in awe of another actress and kind of just wanting to be like them.
Right. Moving forward, I would really want to know that what are the kind of stories that you would like to say? Would you like to explore everything else beyond that?
I would just like to be part of interesting stories. I think that's all you can hope for, to be part of a narrative that is gripping and, emotional and is trying to say something and touches people. So I don't think there's any kind of barriers to that. It can literally be anything. It can even be comedy. It can be a thriller. It can be drama. I'm just hungry to do everything, and I'm just excited to play parts that challenge me.
Is there a particular episode in the show that you find it pretty interesting? And because even though there is a one storyline that's moving forward with each story, but there's also standalone episodes, obviously. So is there a particular episode that you are pretty like interested and you watched and you loved it?
I really love the sixth episode, which is about the driverless car, because it's something that hasn't happened yet. Really, it's not a reality. But to kind of explore that, should this have happened, what is the right scenario and what is the wrong scenario? I found that really interesting, and I was really excited that I got to fight that case.
Right. Do these long monologues are these long monologues hectic, or like were you very interested and excited that you get to be in a space where you were learning lines back to back?
Yeah, I mean, for me, so I've studied in ICSE, so I'm very good at ratta maruing everything. That being said, of course, you have to understand the beats and you have to understand which Shefali guided me through. And like I said, I'm a nerd at heart. So I love having to learn big things and then getting to say them and, so that was a lot of fun.
Right. What are some of the, beyond this, what are some of the shows that you're watching and you've been very intrigued by them? Or like any one show in recent times, beyond Guilty Minds, obviously?
Well, I in like Indian content or anything?
Anything.
I just finished watching We Crashed, which was really interesting and fun. And that I really binge watched. I've really enjoyed it. And it's currently still not finished. So that I'm excited to finish. And obviously the last 10-15 days have been kind of tied up with the release and things like that. So I've been just too anxious to sit down and watch something. But this is the last thing that I watched.
What is it like for a new actor to just be like in a space where like the promotions and the kind of trailer launch and everything? So you're not finished this long time back, right? So everything when it started right now, like what is it like a whirlwind kind of a scenario where you're not able to grasp everything, or now you're able to understand what is happening?
I think when you're starting out, you are just praying for the day when this will happen, where something you're in will be out and people will see you and people will watch your work. And so for years, it's just been something I've wanted. And so it's a bit bizarre that I'm now here and people are watching it and something I'm in has come out and people are enjoying it. I don't think it's registered yet. But that being said, I wake up just grateful that I got to be part of this. And everything has been fun through and through.
Right. Have you signed anything else right now? Or is it too soon to ask?
I actually wrapped another show for Sony Live, which has not been announced yet officially, so I can't talk about it, but hopefully that will be out soon as well. It's very different from this. And I hope that once people watch this show, I get to do a lot more work.
Yeah, I'm sure because like it takes your own people take your own time in the first 2 episodes where you understand the amount of characters they are, and then once you get into it, it's like, oh, it's pretty interesting now. Like, but it ended on a cliffhanger. What do you think would happen in season 2 if at all it gets announced? I am so excited. If at all,
I'm so excited, and I keep saying that. Shreya, Sugandha and Shreya plays Kashyap and Sugandha plays Vandana, and 3 of us didn't get to do any scenes together. And barely, we had just small interactions on screen, but we hung out so much on set behind the scenes that we have been plotting that season 2, maybe Shubhangi will just join them and, we'll get to have a girl gang. And I hope that happens because I've become such good friends with them and I'm so fond of both of them. So I hope that happens.
Right, because see, I've seen Sugandha for so long and Shreya has been working for so long. So I can understand because you all just had one scene where just like one introduction.
Small interaction.
That's it. And beyond that, you guys didn't interact. So I can see you 3 becoming friends eventually.
I hope so. We kept saying that why is Shubhangi just hanging out with Deepak? She needs to just come and like become BFFs with Kashyap instead.
Okay. She's also at like the phase where she's finding her have feelings also, right? So I can understand why she would be with Deepak in first season. But
no, I love their relationship. I love the relationship with
It was
Deepak.
very.
It's so sweet and endearing, and it was so much fun playing it out.
That's true. He's also a lot of. There are red flags, but obviously you get to know a little bit later. But going forward, is there a particular moment that you feel like? How do you see your character going forward, if at all, if there's a season 2?
Well, I feel like she's still not really come into her own. There's just been a slight change in, how she's feeling. She is becoming a little more confident. And that change has slowly crept in towards the end of the season. So I would be really excited to explore her really kind of being comfortable in her own skin and making her own decisions, and just to see, because she's still so young, to kind of see how she grows as a human being. I'm very excited to explore it. So I hope that it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Namrata. I
Thank
had a
you.
lovely chat with you, and I'm so excited. And I hope Amazon announces it the same. I need to know more.
Yes, thank you so much. It was
All
so
the
nice
very
talking
best.
to you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All the very best. I'm looking forward to all the things you do. Congratulations on getting
Thank you. Thank you so much.